All right, great day. We're about to knock out this little video real quick. My boy Matt asked me, he's one of my students on the group coaching call, and he's pulling his first list. So he's just asking for my help about what I suggest. And so I figured I'll record and show you guys too. So we're gonna get this list from list source number one. If you guys are part of the group, you guys know we can get 2 cents records. So if you're not, then I guess you're paying 38 cents. Good luck. But okay. So the first things first, okay. We're getting our list from list source because it's credit bureau data. So some of the best data out there. Number two, but before we pull a random list, we want to make sure we're in areas where buyers are buying. Okay, we want to know exactly where buyers are buying in our area so we can do like a reverse search on what zip codes are the hottest in our area. So I'm gonna show you that first. And Matt is in, let me see what area he's in real quick, and then we're gonna look it up specific to him because he's the person I'm helping today. Okay, so he is in county, is in Tennessee. I think it's Rutherford or something like that. Bam. Right. And then we want to target properties that we're actually going to be, selling. So if you're doing apartments, then cool, put apartments right here. But for us, what I'm teaching is mainly residential. So you go to property type, and we're going to put in all the property types that we're interested in marketing, to our buyers. Townhouses, multifamily, which is less than 4. Mobile homes, oh yeah. Duplexes, triplexes, quads, 4 units, and single families. Boom. Okay. So since we're trying to find buyers or find out where buyers are buying, okay, so we want to go to equity, and these buyers are normally buying in cash, so we want to put 99 to 100 cash because we're trying to narrow down and see where those people are. So boom, so that got us down to, from 118, right, down to 13. Now we're down to 8,000. This is perfect. So now we're narrowing down the search. A couple other things we want to do. Number one, we want to only look at absentee because we want to see, a rental is not their personal house that they live in. It's another one. So we want to look at absentee. Let's take out trust because we can't really pull out any trust. We can't really look and see who owns a trust. LLCs we can look up. We want both mailing and property addresses. Okay. So great. So we got 4,000. Okay. So there's been 4,339 properties purchased. Ooh, we need to do the time frame. Yeah. So we're gonna do the sell date because we want to only look up, the activity that's been going down in the last 12 months because we don't want to pull stuff up from 10 years ago because we want good data. Let's see. Last market sell date. Boom, boom, boom. That's a year. Great. So there's been about 1,000 cash transactions in the last year. Coolio. And by the way, I prefer a city that has about, 500,000 people in it just so you can do, like a volume of deals. But this is the particular area that he wants to target. So we're doing just that. All right. So now I'm going to go to purchase list. Now we're not really purchasing this list. Okay. We're just kind of using this hack to see the highest performing zip codes. Now we're going to go to purchase partial list. Then we're going to filter by zip code. Okay, boom. Now it gives us the zip codes and who had the highest cash transactions. And apparently it is this zip code right here. You can export this list and keep it so that way you know, so that way you always have it. And that's what I would suggest is exporting that list. And of course, if you want to buy a buyer's list, boom, here's the list that you can buy. Here's the list that you can buy of about 1,000 people. Skip trace that list, send them an RVM, invite them to your buyer site, so they can opt in to see your discounted deals. That's a great way to get buyers really fast, by the way. So great. So that's the first part of finding which zip codes are super hot. So now that I know that, I need to write this down. So now that I have, since this list is a little smaller, we're gonna do the top. We're gonna do like the top 5. But normally, if it's a bigger list, I'm probably only gonna do like the top 2 zip codes or something like that. Let's see here. Top zip codes is 37128, 37086, 37129, 37130. Boom. Okay. So now we're gonna just start back over. I'm gonna create our own list again. Okay. So geography again. We're gonna do this. We're creating our absentee list now. Okay, and I suggest absentee because you're gonna find sellers and buyers on it. You get a nice big fluffy list. Okay, so we do county again. We're not targeting buyers on this one, okay? The last one was just so we know what zip codes that we need to target, that we need to focus on, so we can get a deal as soon as possible and have a deal that's ready that everybody wants. Okay, now we're gonna do property type, same as before. Oop. Bam. Okay. Let me do. Okay. Let me throw this in there too. Single family. Boom. Okay. You can't throw in condos too. Let's throw in those. Okay. So equity wise, okay. Honestly, I'm not really gonna do anything there. I'm not really gonna. It's such a small town. I'm not really trying to do that. Because that's just gonna make your list smaller. I mean, technically, if it was a bigger list, I would want to do like 65%, and less as far as equity wise go. But I think we're gonna be just. I think we're gonna be just fine. Let's see. Last market sale date. So now this right here, we want to push this back at least about 5 years. Okay. All right. Right. And honestly, that's really about it as far as that goes. Okay. Now, one thing I will say, you can pull up, pending auction sale or pre-foreclosure. You can do that, and that's gonna be a very small list. But I like you guys to have a nice big robust list. So we'll do this an absentee list. So that way we get all the homeowners out of there. And 3,000, that's kind of where I like to be. But of course, we got to exclude the trust. We want to include the LLCs because LLCs own houses, right? And then we need both mailing and property addresses so we can market to them correctly. Okay, nice. So we got a nice little list of about 5,600, and that's where you need to be, Max. Excuse me, Matt. So your property type is in there. The property type is in there. Last sale date is not within the last 5 years, so they've owned it for longer than 5 years. We didn't put a marker on equity because we need a nice fat juicy list. But if your list is huge, you can always mark it down as 60% or less equity. We always want the mailing and property address. That's just my opinion. Absentee, which is in state and out of state, and then never include trust because you just can't skip trace the owner of a trust. That right now that's not found. So from here, of course, you go to purchase your list, and purchase your list, and you can. Um, Here's a really good one. So every time you order here, you can suppress your list, so that way you make sure you're not buying the same records over and over again. But for our guys, we get a little discount, so the price is lower, a lot lower than this actually, for a list of 5,000. So if you want to jump in our group coaching calls, you get access to 2 cents leads, um, and this is how you pull an absentee list with no equity. And this is kind of where I suggest that you start because you're going to get sellers and you're going to get buyers in this list. And once again, if this was if this was a bigger county, I would suggest using those three hottest zip codes to just focus in on those three hottest zip codes. But since we are in a smaller city, we're not gonna do that. But I always like pulling the hottest zip codes so we can drill in on those zip codes and get the hottest deals possible in the zip codes where everybody wants to buy. Okay. Look, if you guys found this valuable, give me a like or shoot me a text. Tell me some good news. Tell me that you like this information. All right. Have a blessed day. Use it, apply it, take action.